Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Profitable Interior Designer. I'm Nancy Ganzekaufer, business coach, and I am here with my awesome co-host, Lesley Myrick, both business coach and interior designer. How are you today,
And
Lesley?
profiter. I like that term. I'm going to be a profiter.
I'm going to be a profitable. I'm going to just redo it until somebody pays attention. That's what I think I'm going to do. Okay. So today our topic is unlocking business growth, the power of interior design networking. But before we start that, if you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel so you get notified of future learning opportunities. Now, this is an interesting one to me because networking is how I grew my entire niche interior design business, which was art consulting and accessories, art framing and accessories. So networking is how I did it. And for me, it was really important to find where my ideal client hung out, right? So the first thing we want to talk about, though, before we even get into how do you find your ideal client when it comes to networking, we want to talk about referrals and recommendations. How much of your business comes from referrals or recommendations?
I'm thinking of the 4 projects I have right now, 3.
It's amazing, right?
Yeah.
Building these relationships are valuable connections for the future. Be either they know somebody, they want you back again, or they know someone they want to refer you to, right? Mothers, aunts, uncles, everything. This is what people do. They're like, oh my God, I worked with a fantastic person, right? Let me see if you like her too, or him, right? So this is so important. How do you hone your referrals and recommendations?
So this is something I've shared this story with a lot of our Profit Insiders groups because I think it's important. Growing up, I remember my dad was in sales, and to me, like, networking was like briefcase and mustaches and fancy meetings and handing out business cards. And I really had this sort of antiquated version of what networking was. And the longer I'm in business, the more I'm like, oh, it's just making friends with people. It's just being kind and striking up conversations and getting to know people. And it's not, there's something in this for you and me. Let's exchange information. It's just, hey, you're a lawyer. I remember meeting you. I've got a friend that needs a lawyer. Can I send her your way? You start to remember these people, to know what they do because they're just in your world. They're in your circles.
And I swear to God, we could end the live now with the sentence that you said. It's just having conversation.
Yeah,
Right?
truly.
Networking is just having conversation, but with multiple different types of groups of people. And it depends, like, how many groups of people? I don't know. How long is it taking you to get business? Are you in the right groups of people, right? Which takes us to number 2, targeted client connections, networking with potential clients that align specifically to your, I don't know, design style, vision, demographic that you're thinking you're going after. And the one story I always tell is I had a New York City interior designer when I first started coaching, and she really did not want to join a networking group of any kind or a charitable organization, which I really encourage. When she ended up joining the Central Park Playground Association, because her daughter was always at the playground and she was always with her. She ended up really loving it, getting involved in it, going to I think it called a Red Hat event, and people recognized her from her Instagram and from the lives that I was getting her to do on Instagram and Facebook. And it was a really good experience. I don't know if she ended up getting any business out of it, but I would be surprised if she didn't, if she continued to participate and targeting her clients. Because when we talked about what could she join, she's like, I'm a young mom and a lot of my clients are young moms, which, by the way, is a hint, that's usually the way it is. So she was able to network with these people, really get to know them, and they liked her. And then they ended up starting to refer her, hopefully. But we don't know that yet because it had happened. And then I haven't coached with her since. But she was so thrilled that people recognized her, and these were her ideal clients. So let's talk about number 3, supportive community. That's kind of what we are.
Yeah.
The Interior Design Business Forum, the almost 9,000 Facebook group people that support each other and we support them, right? The Profit Insider Academy, which is a supportive group of group coaching along with us that help everyone get to the next level of whatever they're looking to do with their business. but also like things like the IDS, Interior Design Society, or ASID, if it's a great organization near you, or what are some other ones that you've looked into?
That are designer specific?
Doesn't have to be. Supportive community.
Oh gosh, anything to do with like local business owners, small business, we're all facing similar challenges. There is an organization here in Macon that is local creatives. So it's
Ooh.
broad strokes, but we're talking like furniture makers, artists, designers, writers, anyone that sort of identifies themselves as that. There's monthly meetups. So I think this is one of those things where you kind of have to look outside the box a little bit, think outside the box, and see what might be in your area, because it's probably not going to say this is the right group for you as a designer. But again, through your network, ask around. Is anybody part of a great group, whether it's for business owners, for creatives, for entrepreneurs? There might be something in your community that you end up aligning with great people to support you as a business owner. That can potentially also be referral sources for you, lead sources.
Definitely. And even within the industry, I mean, there are designers who give jobs to other designers that's no longer in their wheelhouse, or they've come past it, or they don't like those kind of jobs, right? That happened to you.
That's happened 3 of my 4 jobs right now, I
3
believe,
of
are
the 4.
from the same designer, that the job was not a fit for them, which I appreciate and respect. And they have turned into, one has turned into a repeat client that is now a 4,000 square foot new build.
Amazing.
So I'm not,
And I'm glad you said that, because I think people think, oh, they're giving you their dirty little leftovers that are.
sometimes I will, not everything's been a fit. Sometimes I've had a call and I'm like, yeah, I don't want this either. But some of them have, some of them are small projects. This big build started out as 1 dining room and 1 bathroom design only. So it was a good little job, but it wasn't huge. I wasn't making revenue on selling goods. I wasn't implementing, but built that relationship with the client, built the trust. And now when they're ready for this next big project, I'm the one that's on deck for that. So that's been great. And that all came from getting to know a local designer who, it's reciprocal. If I ever have any, I haven't been able to pass her anything, but I try to support her, send little thank you gifts, notes, just make sure that it's appreciated. And
that's really the most important, Lesley. A lot of people say, do you give them money? You know what? Are they asking for money, or do they just really want to make sure a client that they couldn't handle is in good care?
Yeah.
And I think your best payback is giving that client good care. And then, like you said, thanking them for it. So supportive community of interior designers and outside of interior designers. Supportive community is hugely important to your success, right? If you're around a bunch of people who are constantly drawing you down, it's going to be very hard for you to be successful, right? So go ahead.
And if you can't see others who are a few steps ahead of you on the path, it's hard to sometimes believe that you can get there.
Yes.
And surrounding yourself with other entrepreneurs, business owners, creative designers, whatever it might be, who are maybe a few steps ahead, can be really encouraging and inspiring, and you can learn from them.
Yes. Well, I mean, it's kind of like the email you sent this morning, right? So there's somebody who's interested in the Profit Insider Academy, not sure if it's good for her level of her stage of business. And you wrote to her and said, that's the stage I hired Nancy, like in the beginning, right? And look at you now, right? I have only been coaching 8 or 9 years, and you're here with me now, running a luxury interior design business in Georgia, which is 2 states after when you hired
Where
me.
I first started. Yep. I have started my business over 3 times. So even though I've been in business 8 years, I've really only been here 4 years. So it's kind of felt like I have started over again. So,
Every time.
I mean, there's such value in community, in coaching, and having that accountability, and having people who can help you get out of the trees and see the whole forest and get that 1,000-foot view.
Yes. Well, and the learning opportunities, right? This is one of the things on my list, learning opportunities, because attending, even if they're free, webinars, in-person events, paid events, things that continue your education. Like, I like to sit down at a couple of times a year and go, what do I feel like I'm lacking in my knowledge that could really help my clients? Okay. And then I have a second list. What do I feel like I'm lacking in knowledge that could really enhance my business acumen? Okay. So what can I learn to enhance my clients' experiences with me? What can I learn that can teach them? And then what can I learn that's going to increase my business acumen? If everyone has a list like that at the beginning of every year, and then you look networking, okay, where will networking fit into these? you will definitely find things, right? Even when you go to High Point, we attend educational events and we put off educational events.
Oh yeah, even if you sit through an hour-long presentation and there's one takeaway, that alone is worth the free price of admission. It's, you don't usually go to something and everything is everything you needed, but there's one or two things where you're like, aha, that's what I've been missing, or didn't even know I needed to do differently, or oh, that's how this designer is charging. Wow, I can raise my rates. I can do this. Other people out there through this
Yes.
network are showing me that it's possible.
Yeah. And then, of course, there's that whole, we can walk away with 25 things more to do when we go to educational events. And we have to go, okay, now which one is worth it and which one is not? Okay. And that's all another whole discussion. However, in all this, it sort of leads into when you're deciding which ones you're going to take on, you've got to say, does this work with my life right now? Am I in a good work-life balance, or am I not in a good work-life balance right now? How do I get back to a good balance so that I can start putting networking back on my calendar?
Yes, I love that you brought that up because it can feel hard to step away to do these growth events.
Yes.
Truly, I'm so busy. I've got all these deadlines. I can't afford to take 2 hours to go socialize or to have lunch with somebody. And it's cliche, but it's like you can't afford not to. If you're not
You
marketing, if you're not
can't.
building your community when you're busy, you're going to hit those dead times and wonder why there's no business coming in.
Yeah. And it's bad. Someone just wrote, that's where you help. I don't know who said that. There's a link, everyone, if you're watching live on Facebook, there's a link that allows me to see your name. They don't spam you or anything. So it's good to click it. I'm trying to find it to see if I can just tell them where it is. I'm not sure who is commenting, but certainly tell me if you want to. Okay. So the last thing is gaining exclusive access to perks and special events. I don't know that I've ever done that. Like gotten special access. I'm not like exclusive access. I mean, I guess as a participant in the IDS Interior Design Society, I was a national board member. I got exclusive access to some things, but I'm trying to think of what other opportunities.
Well, sometimes, and we were talking about this before we went live, is getting to be a speaker at these events has incredible value. And often you're not invited to speak unless you're a group member. And I can tell you, and again, this is the exception, not the rule, but one of my best clients, we're now on our third project together. We met because I spoke at her Rotary Club. During the pandemic, I did a 20-minute presentation on how to make your home office more awesome because everyone was working from home and struggling with that. And that was a perk of being in that group. So, I mean, that's maybe not what this was, but that's one thing I can think of where you need to be in to get in.
Actually, I actually think this was a good example you just gave, because to get exclusive perks, you're making me think of more things that I've actually done that got me exclusive perks. What got me exclusive perks? Being the chairman of a committee, being the vice president of the Interior Design Society local chapter, being the president, right? That got me unique opportunities to meet people first, maybe, right? I'm not talking about things that other people don't get, but I get it a little early. I get an opportunity to say, hey, I'm Nancy Ganzekaufer. At the time, I'm an art framing and accessory consultant to interior designers, which is who everyone in the room was, right? So joining committees gives you extra perks.
Yep.
Getting up in front of the room and making a presentation gives you extra perks, right? You get that extra connection with people. So, I mean, LuAnn Live is coming up actually.
Yes.
Right? LuAnn Live is one of those great events in our industry. We'll be there representing Profit Insider Academy. And just for our own learning opportunities too. I learn so much when I'm there.
I do too. And there was the live Zoom preview last week with a lot of the speakers and sponsors of that event. And I was there on your behalf speaking, and it was amazing. And I got so much value out of just that Zoom call. I was taking notes. I was reaching out to people. I can't wait for the in-person live event. It's one of those things. I feel like you don't know what you don't know. And It's hard to step away, but those stepping away, whether it's LuAnn Live or High Point or joining something like Profit Insiders Academy, where you have to set aside time to invest in that, that stepping away within a community context, within a learning context, is so incredibly valuable to propel you and your business forward.
It really is. And I've never actually come up with a dollar amount or percentage that I put towards education every year, but I actually put quite a bit of money towards it. And so do you.
Me too. Yeah, maybe too much sometimes. I can
Yeah.
get more carried away.
I know, but at the same time, when you say too much, it's which is first, the cart or the horse, right? I have spoken to so many people who have submitted applications, and I know it's hard to spend money. We have our next Profit Insider Academy starting in September. And when is the right time to spend the money? When your business is not doing well and you need help. Before you close down, before you end up not having a business and you're back to having a hobby and you're crying to your husband or wife or spouse or dog about the fact that you couldn't make it work. I'm fairly convinced at this stage in my life that everyone can be an entrepreneur if they learn the right tools and the correct business acumen and how to run their business the way they want to run it, but with certain principles and procedures in place that serves their ideal client. And that is what achieves the work-life balance. And that is what we're all about in Profit Insiders. And that was Ronica who mentioned that. I went and looked. Thank you, Ronica, one of my successful Profit Insiders. And I do help with getting stuff off your calendar, balancing not just business, but personal as well, right?
Yeah, it's all intertwined. You can't separate the two, and I don't think you should. I think having a successful business means having a successful life.
Well, I always say when your business isn't going well, look at your life.
Yeah.
And people never like to hear that, but it's kind of true for me as well. I mean, it's definitely, things that you have to make improvements on. Sometimes you don't recognize until it comes out backwards, right? So everyone who is struggling in their business, go fill out an application for the Profit Insider Academy. I know I'm asking a lot of everyone, but this is my purpose in life. I truly believe that is to help people who don't know how to run businesses run them successfully. I've chosen interior design because that's the business I was in for 17 years. And that's where I'm known as a leader. And I have so many connections that help our clients, right?
Well, I wouldn't be here without you. I mean, truly, you were one of my first coaches, and I didn't know what I didn't know. And it can be very humbling to be coached and to be in a group where you're hearing things that can be difficult. But holy heck, I mean, if you show up and you do the work, you're going to see a difference. It's going to be worth the investment.
Yes. And we want people who are coachable. We want people who are ready to learn. And it's not always easy. And it's hard to make a change. It's hard to spend money. It's hard to make a change. It's hard to admit you don't know things that you think you know, right? Especially when it comes to business, you just think, well, it's fine. I'm doing okay. But do you want to just do okay? Or do you want to do good, well, profitable, money, salary, fun things, right? The things that are supposed to come along with your business. So, all right. So today was all about how unlocking your business growth through networking, which is only one lesson within a 24 lesson, 12-month program that we go much deeper dive into networking and how to do it, especially because with the body language training and my communication skills, I teach you how to network, how to pull out things from people and get business out of them. So that's all part of it.
I love that you mentioned training people on that, because a lot of our designer coaching clients are introverts and networking seems terrifying. And I want to mention that I'm an introvert too. The idea of walking into a room of strangers makes me want to barf. Like, this is not something that is easy for me or for a lot of designers.
Yeah, some people would say, oh, she's lying. Look at her. Look at her. She's outgoing.
This is learned, baby. This is not me showing up and being confident on camera or in a room full of people. This is 18 years in the design industry, 8 years in my own business, learning how to do what needs to get grow successful business and networking and being able to talk to people. And as you told me early on when you were coaching me, get out from behind your computer and go talk to somebody was really hard. But you do provide it's not just do it, figure it out. It's go do it. Here are things you need to know. Here's body language tips. Here's the words you can use. Here's how to appear confident. And that stuff is worth it, because you cannot do this networking if you are sitting in a corner huddled up and being the little like weirdo no one wants to talk to.
I know it's funny. Sometimes I think to myself, I teach people literally how to get out of their car, how to go to the front door, what to do when you're in there, and a networking event, what to do when you enter, where to stand, who to talk to, what's your goals. Like we talk about all of that because that's how important networking is.
Yeah,
Relationships and conversation.
yes,
That's what networking is, relationships and conversation. So if you are struggling growing your business and you would like to get it to the next level, we'll do so once and for all because it's frustrating when I see so many people struggling. Fill out a Profit Insider Academy application. You'll get 15 minutes on my calendar for us to talk about your application and what's going on with your business. Lesley and I are loving coaching these groups because the success is filling my soul.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, people that just started out, I will, sweeping generalizations, but shy and insecure are suddenly like, they're showing up and they're like, this is working. I can do this. I am doing this. Like it's happening. Right. And that's such a moment for designers when they realize like, holy shit, this can actually work.
Yeah, and the networking piece particularly, a couple of them are really killing it. So
they
anyway,
are.
I know.
People that I wouldn't have expected.
We're like proud mamas. We're like proud mamas. I know. Okay, so everyone go think about your networking. Think about the tips we gave today. Go back to the beginning if you came in late. If you're watching live or on replay, please give us a comment about whether you like networking or not. Do you like networking? That's my question. And if you say no, why? Because guess what? You're going to love networking when it starts bringing you business. Something about bringing in money makes everything better, right? So there you go. All right. Thank you, Lesley, for participating in this conversation once again on our profitable interior designer lesson?
Show? Don't know.
Podcast maybe in the future?
Good idea. Let's see.
All right. We will talk to you guys soon. Have a great week. Bye,
everyone.